G'day and welcome to episode 222 of Trent365. Today is Wednesday the 11th of July, and as you can see out there, I've made it to the resorts at long last here in the Maldives. And as you know, yesterday we had a bit of a meet-up in the Maldives, in Male, in the capital city, and I just thought today I would give you a bit of a wrap-up of the meet-up. We had a dozen people turn up for the night. We had representation from the resort spas, also from day spas in Male, in the capital itself, and we even had a couple of media people turn up who were interested just to get a feeling of what's going on in terms of the hotel spa business in general in the Maldives. So it was quite an interesting little cross-section of the group, and just to give you a bit of colour and texture on the market that is the Maldives, it was pretty much agreed across the room that if they were to get a 15% capture rate, they'd be pretty happy. Remember, everything is on a remote island in the Maldives, so even here, 15% capture rate is something that's considered special by most people. Occupancies of their spas, again, you know, the sort of 30% mark that I talk about regularly is kind of what a lot of people are doing. Interesting thing that came out of the conversation was that this focus on wants versus needs of our guests and our clients and our customers. Something you've heard me talk about before, but we had a great use case, real life example of it at one of the spas on one of the islands, where their number one service that they provide is sunburn treatment. So it's not necessarily something you would normally consider part of the spa menu, but they've found that what people actually need is something to help with their sunburn, because they go out and they just get badly sunburned on the first couple of days that they're there. So it's a great example of how the spa could be a place where people can go and satisfy a need, and while they're there, then you can start getting them into other treatments and services while you're there. Also, another interesting little observation was that wellness hasn't really hit the Maldives yet. There is talk about Maldives trying to target and market itself as a wellness destination, but talking to a couple of the people that are operating spas in the resorts, they're getting pressure from their owning groups to maybe think about wellness and how we can provide it, but they're worried that they can't necessarily provide wellness in its entirety. And one of the points that I made with the guys and girls that came for our conversation yesterday was this idea of the transition market, which you would have heard me talk about before. So I don't think we need to obsess about being able to do wellness 100% right and 100% in totality. We can still be the transition place for people to take a step into wellness. And maybe in a resort location like the Maldives, maybe that transition market could actually be a serious market. Certainly the full-on wellness market, I'm not sure that the Maldives is the right place for that. Certainly not at the moment, and certainly not in the bigger resorts. Some of these resorts are 120, 30, 50 keys or more, and so at that kind of capacity, you can't really expect to have all of those people in that resort looking just for wellness, I don't think. Not in a market like the Maldives. Maybe if you've got a smaller resort, 30 or 40 or 50 keys, maybe that total wellness resort destination could work, maybe. But the general conversation around the room was that wellness is not something that at this point seems to be really taking off in the Maldives market. So that's about it really in terms of the wrap up of the meetup. I just thought I'd share with you a little bit of the perspective from this part of the world. I know a lot of people don't get to come to a place like the Maldives. So I think it's interesting to hear, again, understanding that these are resorts stuck on remote, tiny islands. Guests can't get off and really go anywhere else while they're there. So it's interesting to me, and this is what I've been saying for a while, a lot of the same problems that you're probably having in your resort or your city location spa aren't any different to what they're having here in the Maldives. So that is it for today, and I will be back again tomorrow. See ya.